Okay. Now, in terms of, I came up with this because this is sort of what you learn when you make changes, and trust me, this is my opinion. I didn't get this from anywhere else. This is purely based on my experiences, and so don't take offense if something is dull.
Okay, you calling me dull?
Well, hey, I was dull for a long time too. Okay. See the museum, and but. It's more has to do with stability and hardware issues, sometimes rushing to market things. Sometimes things get rushed to market, and because if you saw that chart earlier where it had all the companies and their percentages and they were going down and they were going up, that's causing companies to make all kinds of rash decisions. And they'll say, okay, they'll send the specs to the hardware maker, and the hardware maker will manufacture it. Then the software guys are going, we can't do that, when that comes out, and they're writing the software as fast as they can. And then the carriers, they have their own issues with bandwidth, how much data is going over their networks. So, the salespeople are making promises that they can't fulfill, and so it gets ugly. So I came up with this. Because of my experiences. So, if you like it safe, I would stay with the BlackBerries, the feature phones, and not all feature phones. It's just because they do less. That's really my point. And then the older Windows Mobile stuff that's pretty much been around for a long time and is stable. This version 6 and so on. It's pretty dull, though. I guess it depends on your perspective, but
is that from an IT person's perspective or from a normal user?
I think it's from a normal. It's for a little bit of both.
Except with all due respect, because there's difference.
It's purely. I also look at it from the point of view of if I was a typical person. And I had to deal with, I'm not a typical person. No, I'm saying it's from a technology point of view. Because I'm a technologist and I'm into this stuff, and I'm willing to call tech support, and I'm willing to research things online, and I'm willing to put my own time and effort into fixing something. Most people don't want to do that. You just want something that works, right?
Yeah.
You just want it to work. Well, this stuff sort of just works, okay? And the same thing here with the iPhone 3G. Very few issues. Still pretty much has a lot of the features that I had listed, has most of those features. Not all of them, but it has them. So it's sort of still on that cutting edge. But the bleeding edge, the reason why I call it that is because of the factors with rushing things to market, software developers not finishing coding and getting things done and tested, and carriers not capable of supporting the rush of business. I mean, we've seen this pretty extensively recently. When you decide to go on the bleeding edge of technology, you may find yourself dealing with things you didn't want to deal with before when you were on the dull edge. Like things that you take for granted not working, and things you want to work better than they do, and so on. I mean, I could go on and on about just little quirky things, but that's, where you could find yourself. So this is sort of just a warning that if you decide to go down a certain path, you will, and the reason why I put iPhone 4 there is because they had their own issues with the, don't use your left hand to use the phone.
Right?
Yeah, you didn't hear that? It's amazing. Yeah, they basically, there was a couple things. They made a design choice about the frame around this decorative frame and everything. Well, the human body is a good conductor and everything. And when you put your hand in a certain position and had your hand running up it, it made the signal drop, and you could lose the call. Well, then there was a lot of controversy of whether that was true or not, and it had to do with software and some other things. But they basically said, hey, we'll give you this bumper. Well, they wanted to sell you the bumper for $30 first, which is incredible to begin with. So it's okay, we know about the problem, but we'll sell you something to fix it. It's no, give us the damn thing, put it on there, okay, it fixes it. So they had to have a big, stinky conference a few weeks ago where they did a mea culpa and came out and said, yeah, okay, well, it's a problem, and so it's like it's in technology terms, it's like a scandal. So they fall under the bleeding edge category because they knew going into this that there were design flaws, and they did it anyway because they wanted to get it into the market because you saw their market share was falling to Android, and they were starting to catch up, and then they passed them again. So they'll sell millions of units even though that they know there's a defect.